Hello, watching the news bulletin. I'm Bangor from another headlines as usual. Vietnam facilitates foreign firms' investment activities, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính asserts. Conserving values of Thăng Long Imperial Citadel. Composer promoting Vietnamese culture through classical pieces. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính on September 17th presided over a meeting between the Prime Minister and foreign businesses in Vietnam. In his remarks, Prime Minister Chính said he held many meetings with foreign enterprises and business associations both at home and abroad in the last 2 years. The government leader said, besides difficulties and challenges, Vietnam has many opportunities to further boost its development, stressing that Vietnam continues to build and perfect a socialist-oriented market economy, a rule of law socialist state, and a socialist democracy. Vietnam will create a safe and transparent environment and favorable conditions for foreign investors to make long-term investments in the country in the spirit of equality, mutual development and benefit, responsibility for society, employees and the environment, Prime Minister Chính affirmed. For foreign investment, Vietnam prioritizes attracting projects in the fields of high technology, innovation, research and development, he noted. The local labor market has changed a great deal, especially with Vietnam becoming an attractive destination for foreign investors. The country's labor export strategy has therefore been modified to meet employers' requirements. Upon graduation, the 100 students at this auto training class will be picked up by labor export partners in Japan to work at the Mitsubishi Group factory. In addition to possessing solid workplace skills, they have also learned both English and Japanese.
I want to go to Japan to work and improve my skills, and hope to find a good job when I return home.
These workers have been supported by Japanese employers with interest-free loans to cover their training costs. The salary of these workers is much higher than for unskilled workers, starting at nearly 30 million dong, equivalent to $1,275 a month, excluding overtime on a 5-year contract.
Recruiting skilled workers helps Japanese unions and companies reduce cost and training time and improves workplace productivity. Japanese companies are willing to help Vietnamese workers with vocational training before they come to Japan.
Vietnam's labor market has changed a great deal over the last decade, especially as the country becomes an attractive destination for foreign investors.
We have placed a focus on the quality of workers sent to developed countries. This workforce is expected to contribute to national economic development.
Workers and experts trained to work abroad will be able to become key personnel in Vietnam's development. Ho Chi Minh City topped the country in foreign direct investment attraction in the first 8 months of 2022, accounting for 16% of the national figure, according to the Ministry Planning and Investment Foreign Investment Agency.
The city lost some $2.7 billion worth of FDI in January-August, an increase of over 24% against the same period last year. Over $309 million were channeled into nearly 480 newly registered FDI projects, up 17.6% and 20% year-on-year, respectively, during the period. 96 existing projects received extra investment, worth $1.47 billion, up 127% year-on-year. Meanwhile, capital contributions and share purchases were down 19.7% to over $925 million. The largest sum of FDI, nearly 40% of the total, was poured into information and communications. Singapore remained the city's biggest investor, making up over 37% of the total capital.
More than 55 trillion dong, equivalent to $2.3 billion, has been disbursed so far to financially support people and enterprises hurt by the COVID-19 as part of the National Socio-Economic Recovery and Development Program, according to a report by the Ministry of Planning and Investment.
Of the total, over 10 trillion Vietnam dong has been provided in soft loans through the Vietnam Bank for Social Policies. About 4.5 million affected laborers have received over 3.04 trillion Vietnam dong in housing rental assistance. Value-added tax and environment tax on jet fuels have been lowered, resulting in a total tax reductions of some 34.97 trillion Vietnam dong as of August 26. The State Bank of Vietnam has been pursuing flexible fiscal and monetary policies while focusing on addressing legal and institutional issues to accelerate the disbursements of public investment and forge the effective use of the funding sought from the program.
The manufacturing sector is the driving force behind economic growth, but manufacturers are still outcompeted by foreign rivals when it comes to core technologies, according to insiders.
Experts attributed the technological inferiority to domestic firms' limited resources and an inadequate labor force. The manufacturing sector has been developing asymmetrically with an overdependence on FDI firms. The economic overrepresentation of the firms can be observed visibly in the heavy industrial subsector. The sector's reliance on imported materials compounds the situation, resulting in low value-added domestic products. Industrial transition over the past few years undoubtedly has been favored largely by FDI firms rather than domestic ones. Relevant ministries call for favorable policies to keep firms well informed about advanced technologies and facilitate the emergence of big firms, which act as a catalyst for an industrial leap forward. Insiders said not only should the manufacturing sector be heavily invested, but also should supporting industries which supply the former with fuels, components, and materials.
Archaeological excavations have been carried out at the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel relic site since late 2002, and the Piraeus complex has unearthed evidence from many millennia of Thăng Long, Hanoi. Excavations at the citadel between 2002 and 2004 discover various exhibits and architectural traces of various dynasties, paving the way for further research and conservation work.
The work will be sped up soon, thanks to the attention paid by Hanoi authorities and the Ministries of Culture, Sports and Tourism.
More effort is required in the research, conservation, and development of heritage values at the Thăng Long Hanoi Imperial Citadel.
We discover new issues each time, as there are things that remain unclear about the historical evidence of the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel.
Over the past 2 decades and the 10 years since the relic was recognized as the World Heritage Site by UNESCO, the values of the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel have been upheld through various activities.
So what we recommend is that the authorities, political leaders and the scientists, academics, students continue to research the values of the Thăng Long Citadel site.
The Thăng Long Imperial Citadel is a cultural, historical, and archaeological relic of Vietnam and a cultural heritage of the world that needs further effort in research, conservation, and development. Vietnam has been listed in the world's 10 most incredible destinations, which are surprisingly cheap to visit by Canadian travel magazine The Traveler, along with Laos and Indonesia. Vietnam is among the cheapest countries to visit and among the most underrated, the magazine said. Eating local dishes will only cost you a few dollars per meal, and a cup of iced coffee is less than $1. The drink has become an indispensable part of Vietnamese daily life in recent years, with millions starting their day with a cup in the morning. The Traveler also recommended tourists to explore Vietnam by bus or train with cheap fares. If visitors don't mind slow and long-distance travel, then buses and trains around Vietnam are among the most affordable in the world, making it easy to explore all of this beautiful country. Having pursued her passion for classical music for 35 years, Slovakian-Vietnamese composer and pioneer Hoàng Thị Kiều Anh has expressed her love for Vietnam through her creative works. Anh was sent to study at a music school in Slovakia's capital Bratislava after graduating from the Vietnam National Academy of Music in 1988. She obtained a master's degree and became a lecturer. She also worked at the Paris Conservatory and was a student of late Vietnamese musicologist Professor Trần Văn Khê.
I study music composition under a famous Slovakian composer in the hope of creating works featuring Vietnamese melodies for international artists to play, as I believe music is a global language.
Anh was honored during Author Day in Bratislava in 2015 and performed operas in Vietnamese at the Festival Folkfest in the Czech Republic 2 years later. Her works are a combination of Vietnamese traditional music genres, including ca chiu, tuồng, and chao, and European culture.
I always think of Vietnam when I live far away. My love for the country has been a source of inspiration.
She has composed about 100 works so far, many of which are popular in Slovakia and performed at various international music festivals. 2 of her compilations have been introduced as learning materials at the music school in Bratislava. And that's wrap up our news bulletin. Thanks for watching and see you next time.